Good morning and welcome to St John's Church in Burslem. Now today we are here to not visit the final resting place for change, but we are here to visit a monument dedicated to a gentleman who was convicted of murder and hanged, and his name was William Horry. Yeah, William Horry. Now he might have just been a murderer, like a lot of other people back in those days that were hanged. But with his murder, he left us with an interesting tale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin you around, because it's not an enormous churchyard. I'm going to spin you around and show you around his churchyard while I tell you the tale of William Horry.
William Frederick Horry was born in Boston, Lincolnshire, on the 17th of December 1843 and was generally known simply as Fred. He met a young lady named Jane who was working as a barmaid at a hotel in Burslem in the Staffordshire butteries, and they soon fell in love. The two got married in 1866 and with financial help from his father was able to purchase the George Hotel. He soon established himself and was held in very high regard locally. Fred and Jane had been married for some 6 years, having 3 children while running the hotel. Initially all went well, but he began to drink heavily and the marriage began to fall apart, to the point where in early 1871 Jane left him and moved to Boston in Lincolnshire, where she stayed with his father at the Red Cow Inn. In March of 1871, Fred believed that Jane had been seeing another man and decided to initiate divorce proceedings. Frederick's father had taken Jane's side in all this, which probably didn't help the situation. He sold the hotel in Burslem and moved to Nottingham, where he continued to drink heavily. He purchased a revolver from a local gunsmith, asking that it be sent to Nottingham station for him to collect. He arrived at the station, but his parcel had not arrived. He spent the night in Nottingham before returning to the station, by which time the gun and ammunition had arrived. He then purchased a ticket to Boston. Thomas Nell, who was the inspector at the station, knew Fred and was aware of his marital problems. Realising that the package contained a gun, he immediately sent a telegraph to Fred's father in Boston. Fred tried to see Jane on the Sunday, but was refused admission to the house. Sadly, he found Jane at home at around 3 p.m. the following day and immediately shot her from behind. The bullet had penetrated her ribcage before passing through her lung and lodging in the aorta. Injuries which caused a very rapid death. Family members and servants heard the shot, rushed to the drawing room where they found Fred standing over Jane's dying body. He made absolutely no effort to escape. He just said, "Someone fetch a constable." He then handed the gun to his brother, Thomas, stating, "You have no notion, Tom, how I love that woman. I just couldn't stand the jealousy." He was arrested by a sergeant named Glover and admitted to the shooting, telling him, "I did it and am only sorry that I have not shot Dr. Oldham, Mr. Tomlinson and Mr. Pearson, who have all had connection with my wife." The inquest was held the following day at the Red Cow, presided over by Mr. Clegg, the coroner. The jury came back with a verdict of wilful murder against Fred, and he was remanded to prison to appear before Boston Magistrates' Court. Fred made a lengthy statement in his defence in court, but was committed for trial by the magistrates to the Lincolnshire Lent Assizes. His trial opened at Lincoln Assize Court on Wednesday the 13th of March 1872 before Mr. Justice Quain. The defence were facing a severe uphill struggle to mount a credible defence. Insanity was the only real option open to them in view of the prisoner's admissions and the physical evidence. They did their best to argue that the excessive drinking combined with his all-consuming jealousy were sufficient to unbalance Frederick's mind. The jury did not accept this and returned with a guilty verdict. The judge sentenced Fred to hang, and he was removed to one of Lincoln Castle's 2 male condemned cells to await execution. He was reportedly quite resigned to his fate, although he was concerned about the future of his 3 children. He later found out that there would be no reprieve, and the hanging was set for Easter Monday, the 1st of April 1872. At 9 a.m, Fred thanked the governor and the chaplain for the kindness they had shown him. He then stepped onto the trapdoor before stating his last words, "Lord, have mercy on my soul." Shortly after, the prison surgeon, Dr. Broadbent, examined the body and certified death. On Sunday the 7th of April 1872 at 10 a.m, some 60 of Fred's friends in Burslem held a gathering at the George Hotel to commemorate his life and good character and his death as a martyr. They then walked in procession to St John Church, the parish church, carrying an empty coffin with an estimated 3,000 to 4,000 people lining the streets. Here, a memorial service was led by Reverend A. Wotton, who in his sermon talked of the penitent letters that Fred had written while awaiting execution and described him as a man and a martyr, more sinned against than sinning. This was extremely unusual, if not unique, for an executed murderer to be honoured in this way. Though he was laid to rest in Lincoln Castle, a memorial to William Frederick Horry was placed in the location where that famous sermon was read. So today we find ourselves in the churchyard of St John the Baptist Church in Burslem, Staffordshire.
Well, that's all the information on William Horry. Now, this is an awful place to have a church. It's a bit of an old rundown church. It's built in what looks like the middle of a housing estate. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some magnificent tombs in here. As I've tried to film, one's had its lid taken off. There's another one here in front of me with its lid off. But it's an absolutely magnificent headstones, and some of these are a hell of a lot easier to read. I mean, there's one up there, 1855, and it's a lot easier to read than ones that are 20 years old. It's unbelievable. But anyway, the monument for William Horry is just up here in front of me, so I'll spin you around and we'll go and have a look at it together. Right, it's just over here. Now, as you heard, it was an interesting tale, so I thought I'd make a video on it. Yeah, it's just over here. It was strange for a priest to say that about a convicted murderer as well. I thought it was a bit odd. But here it is, right in front of us. The monument for William Horry. Here down the bottom it says, "Sacred to the memory of William Frederick Horry, born the 17th of December 1843, died the 1st of April 1872. Also Jane, his wife, born the 17th of February 1846, died the 15th of January 1872. No further seek their merit to disclose or draw their frailties from their dread abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose the bosom of their Father and their God." And right at the very bottom, this monolith was erected in affectionate remembrance of the above named W.F. Horry by his Staffordshire friends. There you go, that isn't the final resting place of William Horry, because he's buried in Lincoln Castle, if I remember rightly. But it is a monument, and this is where the coffin was brought to. The empty coffin. Well, it was a very interesting tale, so I hope you liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you think about maybe consider subscribing, and if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Anyway, that's me, Darren, from somewhere near Stoke. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.